Hi, this is Zach,
And this is Patrick,
and welcome to Pipecast.
where we pipe up for pipes and pipe down for what? Well, we're back at it now.
Yeah, in the old fabled garage of tobacco.
Mm-hmm. In the red seats today.
Ooh,
We're always in the red seats, but
that was a red suit. We added a red stool.
yeah, we got a third
We got
body.
We got a third member of another organization in the house.
We have one half of the DIY metal guys, Mr. Dan. How you doing?
How's it going? Good to be here.
Dan's going to be participating in a little talk and smoke today on our this is our 6th episode, isn't it? 7th.
Six.
Sixth
Well,
episode.
it's 7th total, but it's 6 official.
So here on number 6, kind of thought we'd spice it up a little bit and bring in someone extra, add a little flair to the conversation. So, a little housekeeping. What are you smoking today, Patrick?
I got some plum pudding. Felt like a plum pudding kind of day. And my dairy rusticated at Peterson.
There you go.
How about you?
I'm smoking Esotericas and Soda Bed in my
Oh, nice.
reverse calabash strawberry meerschaum. That's what we call it. It looks like a little strawberry because it's got a nice, what's that called?
Like lattice?
Lattice work, yes, thank you. Oh, I was going to say radish work. That's not right at all. But yeah, nice little English blend. And what about you, Dan? We got you set up with a pipe today.
Yeah, I got this nice skull meerschaum pipe,
Mm-hmm.
smoking some provided Rattray's Red Rappery.
I'm going to keep it extra metal today.
That's right.
Extra metal.
That skull meerschaum.
Tell you
Knock
what,
it
this
out.
has a great aftertaste.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
like
good.
that. That red rappery is really
It's
good.
like
English with a little bit of Cavendish added in, thrown on top of it.
Mm.
It's kind of a light all-day smoker. That's
It's
the way I
really-
like it. Yeah.
it's really good. It's like, especially with it being a little chilly outside since it turned cold today.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know, something about it. It just
Weird.
goes
Yeah, the
perfect with
weather-
the weather change.
It's got a great tin note.
Weather's just absolute garbage. We talk about the weather too much, but it is still garbage.
It's been garbage for 2 months.
Alabama's not even Alabama anymore. It's more like Atlantis or something.
Yeah, it pretty much
Completely
is.
underwater.
It pretty much is. Search for Atlantis when you found it.
Hmm.
But
North Alabama.
but yeah, we got Dan on today because old Cascadian Piper on Instagram, he posted something maybe a week or so ago
Mhm.
where he was listening to a metal album, and it was like a Lovecraftian themed metal album. And as you know, we talk about Lovecraft a pretty good bit on the show. But so I sent it over to Dan, knowing that they get the DIY metal guys up and running. So figured it'd be something he'd like to look into and a good way to bring him on and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd actually never really listened to that band that he was listening to that you sent over. I'd heard of them, but never really listened to them. They're called Sulfur Aeon, if I'm saying that right.
Mm.
But they're a German, like, I'd call them like a melodic black metal band, or like maybe even a black and death metal band.
Mm.
They're pretty good if you're into that kind of music, though. Like, it's very atmospheric, very Lovecraftian. I don't know a whole lot about
Kind of
H.P.
like,
Lovecraft, but
a little bit more on the cosmic side, a little bit dark.
Right.
I like kind of infinite universe. You are minuscule. It pretty much sets itself up to be a part of the black metal movement.
yeah, I mean, that's probably why so many bands like do those type songs. But just from my research, I don't listen to a lot of like black metal.
Mhm.
I do some, but I don't listen to a whole lot of it. I think kind of got to have a specific taste for it, and they're not black metal necessarily, but they have some
Elements, yeah.
elements of black metal for sure. But their theme was definitely the only band I've ever listened to that is completely Lovecraft.
Mm.
Every song. It's actually really good. I didn't listen to the album I did listen to the album that you sent me,
Yeah.
Patrick, but it was only available on YouTube or something for some reason. So,
Oh, okay. So like no Bandcamp, no nothing.
no, like I tried getting them on Spotify, like iTunes. It wasn't even on Napster.
Really?
Oh,
But you did find a new.
I did find their new one that just came
Oh.
out last December or this past December called what was the name of it? It's slipping my mind now. I'd have to look it up. But it just came out this past December. It's pretty good though. I mean, if you're into that type of music, it's for a German band on a German label. Very well produced.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm not saying that German bands can't be produced well.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, in the metal genre, what country, I guess, is the epitome of?
of what, black metal?
Well, yeah, I guess black
Black
metal.
metal, you're looking at like Sweden and
Like Ghost, like aren't
Ghost
they?
is from Sweden.
They are. But what are they? What genre are they?
Man,
Because I do like them a lot.
I usually refer to them as a metal band.
Yeah.
But they're like a metal band in the classic sense of like Black Sabbath,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Now I like Ghost.
Yeah, they're good. I hate that I missed them. They came to Atlanta not too long ago.
Tickets are like $80 a pop though.
Well, that's about
Or
how much.
90.
That's about how much I pay for ODMB.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that they were that because I looked up the ticket prices.
For Ghost?
Yeah.
Where you want to go?
No, but I just was curious.
Were you wanting to give me a Christmas present?
I was thinking about doing some bonuses, like a Christmas bonus for the team
Yeah.
of IC. So I looked up.
Go to see Ghost as a kid.
You and Justin are what I was going to hand off the tickets to,
I don't think he likes Ghost.
and then I was going to give David a bottle of tequila,
Dude, I'd have been so mad if you're like, here you go, Justin.
Yeah.
and then
Go see-
I was
go
going to
see
give
Ghost.
Brad a bottle of bourbon. So that was what I
Oh,
was
yeah.
looking at as far
Yeah.
as Christmas, like something to do for the team.
That's
And,
pretty funny.
But I was hoping to keep it within like a $40-$50 range, and then like when I saw like it was like $100 a pop, I was like, man, I can't afford this.
Surely that was like VIP or what was left or
No,
something.
dude.
Because most of the time when you go see a metal or a rock show, depending, but like a higher end metal act or rock act, like I went and saw Avenged Sevenfold a little over a year ago.
Mhm.
Those tickets were like $60.
What you,
65.
when you saying Greta Van Fleet's really expensive, like too expensive for where they are now?
Well, they're pretty big though.
I mean, they are.
They're big. Like people like them. I think that's why people are willing to pay the price because
Capitalism, baby.
well, they're hitting like this note that people have been missing for 40 years. You know. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I've seen them. I saw them once in Huntsville a couple years back. But
That was a fiasco.
I wasn't going to be able to make it because I had a work conference to go to. So I sold the tickets to Zach.
But I didn't pay you for them, and we didn't transfer them
That's
yet.
right.
But I was like, that's fine. I'll get it to you when I can.
Yeah, I was just going to give them to you.
Then they canceled the conference, and I was like, well, I didn't really pay you for them anyway.
Well,
And we
just
didn't transition them or nothing. So
Oh.
So I just went. Yeah, I saw them in this little bitty place. Like,
Was that the
is it
rail track, side track?
tracks,
Yeah.
I saw them over there, and that's a small place.
It's small, but I do like it.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's nice.
I saw CBDB there.
I've seen one of our coworkers has a band. I went and saw his band play there, and I went and saw. Actually, the only reason I saw this band was because they opened for them, but Hawthorne Heights was there.
Oh.
They're not metal, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I know that Unknown Henson is coming there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw that.
I want to go see it. How much is
Is that
those?
Sidetrack?
$15, I think.
When is it?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Unknown Henson. Foggy Winters.
If you guys like gothic rockabilly with like a twist of country rock, then you'd definitely want to see Unknown Henson.
Did you? Well, did you ever listen to that band that I sent you?
Was
That was it the Dead?
I don't know. I didn't listen to that one. The only thing I've listened to that you've sent me lately, and I say lately as in like the last 6 months, was like that Gobble Apocalypse or whatever it's
What are you
called.
talking, Necrogoblicon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
What is that?
I don't
Goblin
know.
metal, bro.
But it's
Goblin
like it's got a goblin as the front man.
Oh, it's so good.
It's
What
so
the crap?
strange.
So good.
I watched all their videos. It's just
Did you-
this dude in a goblin costume just running around trying to be like a human.
Did you what? He has he actually has like a talk show that he does called Right Now with John Goblicon. It's hilarious. It's on YouTube.
What is this? A Tolkien version of Slipknot?
That's all. We're hitting all kinds of stuff. So you have Lovecraft metal, and that band was called what again?
Necrogoblicon?
No, the Lovecraft one.
Oh, Sulfur Aeon.
So Sulfur Aeon. Then you have fantasy metal, which is Necrogoblicons. Then you have like classic metal in the tradition of Sabbath
Like
with a
Ghost.
twist of black metal, like showmanship, which would be Ghost.
Dope. And you talking about?
What was that band I told you to listen to that one time? It was like straight from the bowels of hell.
Wait, you're not talking about the one that was made up of all
Yeah,
the...
yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
the one that had all like the victims of like torture and stuff screaming in the background.
What?
So
It was like real recordings of that.
I will first let me find the band name.
We were talking about it. They're not. It's like it's not music. It's
Oh, it's just that.
yeah. It's what some people call art.
Not Zach.
Like I wouldn't call it
So
art.
wait, so Zach showed it to you, or you showed it to
He
Zach?
showed it to me. I was
Oh,
like, I was
God.
talking about some stuff I was listening to. He's like, oh yeah, let me show you this. He sent it to me. I was like, dude, it's 10 o'clock at night, and how am I supposed to listen to this when it's this dark
I think
outside?
Give me
I just said you're welcome. So let's see here. It is they're called Gulag, and
That's the most German thing ever.
and it's
Or Russian, I guess.
Or Russian.
I'm
too.
not
Yeah, I
100%.
guess it's
So
Russian.
like,
Yeah.
what is the? Do they have
Pardon
the
my
band?
ignorance.
I get them confused all the time.
They used to be called Stalag, actually, but like
That's German, isn't it?
I think so.
I don't know.
And I
Yeah,
think the
I guess.
band. I can't remember exactly what the album's called. All I know is that it's. This is so you guys buckle up because it's getting wild. But it's called they made the album using the screams of mental patients, rape victims, and kids
Oh
that
my
had been
god!
like sexually abused, and it's just literally
disturbing.
like it's music with ambient screaming, and like the article that I read about it.
It sounds like not even chainsaws. It sounds like a table saw cutting metal.
Yeah,
in the
and they
background.
only described it as like what hell would sound like. That's what two people described it as, because it's literally just like like they described, I think, hell in Revelation as like the gnashing of teeth and gnawing of tongues.
Yeah,
it is very similar to that.
Yep.
There's some controversy. Speaking of that gnashing of teeth, there's a popular song. I think it was a rap song came out a couple years ago that you couldn't understand the very beginning of the song. It was like really high pitched, and come to find out that's what they were singing was that verse. So it was like very controversial.
Mm.
People were like,
It's
"Oh,
a rap song.
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was a Kanye West song.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Sounds Kanye-ish, I guess.
The one other thing I wanted to say about that Gulag is that their album cover was the last image a schizophrenic person drew, and it was the face that would come to him at night, and then I think he ended his life. So
Yeah.
kind of a creepy image.
It was that Lamborghini Mercy song.
Oh,
Kanye West with Pusha T and 2 Chainz. They were in that.
that sort of makes me think of there's this podcast called The Black Tapes, and they sort of dive into something like that. It's like a what they call them, a docudrama. Like it's like fake, but it's played like it's real.
Kind of like S-Town was.
Well,
S-Town was kind of based on true story.
Yeah, S-Town was real. Like I mean, everything that happened in it was true.
Oh, okay. It was kind of like that Twitter channel I showed you that time.
Yeah, where it's sort of like you put on like a fictional kind of thing, but you play it real. But Black Tapes is really good. But they sort of dive into stuff like you're talking about, like the last thing a schizophrenic would see, because like they do. It's like a bunch of different cases that sort of tie up with each other. It's really weird, but it's cool. I would suggest that to people.
Like just knowing that's what they use for their album art
Mm-hmm.
is pretty like creepy.
It's
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
crazy.
you assume that they got it
legally.
legally.
Yeah.
But if you listen to it, you're like, this is not legal.
Well, didn't you and I like look something up on that?
Shouldn't
He was
be
talking
legal.
about one of the band members had like a relative or something that
Mhm.
was maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, but I think they just came in and just recorded. I would imagine. There's no way this.
Hey, you guys.
There's no way you can make an art project from the suffering of others. Like, especially if it's a state-run organization. There's no way.
Yeah, but also it's Germany and or Russia.
What is? You don't think that they're more locked down?
I think they
I
would
don't
probably
know.
allow that.
I
Kind of
feel
stuff
like they
more
would be
so.
completely more locked down.
You're talking
Like,
about the people that like.
if it was government sanctioned, they'd be all for it.
you think that they would?
I don't know if they are. I'm just saying, if it was funded by the government, it'd be fine with them.
I just can't imagine they would sanction something like that. The backlash could be so.
Yeah, but it's also something that's never gonna, like, nobody. You're probably the only person that ever even listened to that album.
Well, not even that.
like the nod of acceptance.
But it's not even that. It's really like, if you. I know you're saying you can't. What did you say about the suffering of others? You can't do what off the suffering of others? What did you?
I said I didn't think they would sanction art based off the suffering of others.
But see, take.
I probably didn't say that, but you'll re-listen to it.
What I was going to say is, I mean,
look, calling you tomorrow about it. Like, I told you said that.
I know what you said, but I'm thinking, like, what about people who have like painted historical rendering of the Trail of Tears? That's sort of the same thing. It's not as extreme, but it still is.
It's documenting history, though.
It is. This is, in a way. It's documenting the history of schizophrenic people. But I guess what I'm saying is somebody made money off the suffering of others in that sense.
I suppose you're right. You could also like say that like the person who is doing that is doing it as in a memorial, as opposed to a live recording of a mental institution.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I'm with you, so to speak, but I'm trying to throw the other side. So
it'd be different if someone was like, "Hold up." All right, yeah, you just bleed right there. I'm painting this.
I agree.
Good. Oh, it collapsed. I'm just going to keep painting. And like you wouldn't, today's society. I mean, I'm sure if there was, granted, I'm sure they wouldn't care during the Trail of Tears. But I mean, that's what we're talking about. It's just like, stop right there, right there. No, keep sweating just like that.
Well, that would be a thing. Like, what if some person from back then just saw them pack up going down the road and they just stood there and started painting them? And like watched it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be very similar, except they're not the ones causing the suffering.
People take pictures during war.
I think that I think that the immediacy of considering all the walls, like how it would be in your face now, I think it's just completely. I don't think you can compare someone doing a painting or rendering something horrible that we consider actually horrible today. They didn't consider the Trail of Tears horror.
Yeah, not at the time.
At the time. I mean, I don't think that... Or else, if it was so bad... I mean, if it was so bad to them, this was an awful thing. But if it was so bad to them, I don't think they would have, pressed forward and just said, no, we're going to ship you out to Oklahoma.
I don't know.
So, I mean, I don't think taking photos or paintings... I don't think the government would care.
Mm.
But if
also,
now
there's also the government pushing those people out too. You're talking about Trail of Tears.
Old Hickory.
Yeah. Old Hick.
He's from right up the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, could you imagine? I don't know why I laugh. But could you imagine being a band that's like recording that and going, "Yep, just set up in the corner over here. We're gonna get you screaming." Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I guess you went back to Gulag. Yeah. I thought you meant recording the Trail of Tears. Like, no. Step a little bit firmer in this gravel.
I gotta take a picture of this.
Sound test is so weird.
Then you see a James Cameron explosion in the background.
Like, these moccasins are so quiet.
But
it's not funny.
Yeah,
it's only funny in its absurdity.
Yeah,
but that is essentially the same thing, And if anyone's upset about that, now think about what we're talking about. Someone literally record mental and schizophrenic patients screaming into nothing, and then they recorded it for an album.
To make money.
Right. It is as absurd as doing something...
I wouldn't even want to be there to do that.
No.
But then how do you consider, like, unless you're presenting it as, like, an audio art, how do you... push that as being music or an art? You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is like anything can be art.
Yeah.
And art being that it is like so ultra subjective, I mean, like there's no way I can objectively well, I mean, I'm sure there's wiggle room in there, like technical, like capture of sound or something like that. There's probably some sort of mechanism that can measure it, but ultimately, you can't objectively state that art is bad. Typically, it's all subjective. So it's just whatever critic decides. And if the critic likes it, the thing is the real question is like, is it humane? Is it empathetic? I think it's probably not.
Does it have to be though to be art? Does it have
No,
to be humane and
I
empathetic?
don't suppose it does.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like, name me who's dealing in Hitler paintings, because they were there. But knowing the history of the man, like, do you buy them because you're a supremacist? Do you buy them because you don't want them on the market? Do you buy them because you're a historical collector? I mean, what, just like, there's a ton of reasons out there, but ultimately you're not buying them because he was a great artist. Just like I don't think you're necessarily listening to the album other than it's a spectacle.
Yeah.
Which means that you're profiteering or making a spectacle out of something that isn't necessarily appropriate. Isn't appropriate.
And the definition of art can still be there and it not be like humane, But yeah, I don't think I'll be listening to that band.
It definitely has like there's some moments where you're just like, I don't know.
It'd be hilarious if they're listening to it.
Well, I mean,
listen
if
to
you
us.
listen to it, like if you're listening to us, and if you made it this far and you didn't stop and go right to Gulag, let me just give you a warning. Like it is.
Here's a warning. Don't go listen to it.
I mean, it is a troubling sound.
I was doing, and when you sent that to me, I was doing the most domestic of all things. Like I was folding laundry. I'm like, what am I doing?
Listening to this.
Yeah. And most people only last about 5 minutes.
I think I made it like between 5 to 10. I was like, I ended up like fast forwarding. I was like, okay, maybe I can, because there's something. I don't like it, but there's something like you say, kind of like a spectacle to hear that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, is there any more after this? But then it kept sounding like chains rattling and people screaming, and
That's crazy.
And not screaming like because they're screaming like a metal band would do. Yeah. It's like painful.
Sort of to change topic a little bit and get back to something that I think we've skipped over the past few weeks. I was supposed to tell everybody about what I thought about Red Virginias. And I don't think I have.
Right to the cut.
So I'll just let y'all know I really couldn't. I could tell a difference between Bright Virginias, but I couldn't tell what it was. Maybe more figgy. I don't know. I'm gonna have to smoke a lot more of it. I know people say there are differences between Virginias. Some more of a grass, some hay. Then there's a lot of sweetie. You know Zach.
I mean, I think that there's like an apricot raisin, a darker sweetness to red. And Bright does have a citrusy, grassier note to it.
See, I didn't pick up on that citrusy, grassy on the Brights, but maybe if I go back now, I might. But no, yeah.
Virginias can be kind of troubling because they'll burn your tongue. Without mercy. So, I mean, I like Virginias in a blend. Smoking a straight Virginia, it's always in a meerschaum. It's always like my tongue is completely healed from an excessive amount of smoking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Or maybe a P-lip.
Yeah, P-lip.
But that's probably going to burn. What I've noticed with my P-lip, I don't get tongue burn, but the roof of my mouth, starts to feel it more so than than when I smoke the fishtails. So. So it's like, do you want tongue burn or do you want the roof of your mouth? But usually the roof of the mouth doesn't last as long. So
usually, I'm not a pipe smoker all the time. Of course,
you're pipe smoking now, though.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well,
I used to pipe smoke when I first moved to college. I had a corncob pipe.
And a button nose.
If you guys want to know more about corn cobs and other materials made for pipe smoking, then listen to last episode, number 5, and I break down all material for you.
Yeah, and if you've listened to last week's episode or the last episode, you can understand why we brought Dan in here, because we have to have an intervention, a music intervention with Zach.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of comments about people suggesting that maybe Nirvana wasn't the influencer or the creator of Nickelback, that it was actually Pearl Jam.
Which I take more offense with, because I like Pearl Jam a lot more than I like Nirvana.
It's not about liking, it's about the sound.
But
grunge gave birth to that movement.
I mean, yeah, but then
grunge in general gave birth to it.
That's more what I'm
saying.
saying.
To me, what popularized grunge, which means the father of grunge, is Nirvana.
Yeah, I mean, you always.
I'll say that. Well, yeah, I mean, like them.
You always associate the father of a genre as the genre.
You can even throw some Alice in Chains in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
That whole like post hair metal '90s, the whole grunge movement. That's all what brought you Nickelback, and one of my biggest influencers. I talked about it on our first episode. Was what got me into like metal and rock and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Two things. I'm going to say it again. Whitesnake's greatest hits and Creed's Human Clay. Man, I'm not ashamed of it.
I mean, Creed and Nickelback are very similar to me because it's more nostalgia based, but I still like them. I still like listening to Creed.
I don't remember. I was singing a Creed song this morning,
Yes.
and just to be funny, I was on the couch. My wife woke up. She came out. I was singing the song or whatever. I got ready for work. I walked out, and then I heard her singing it, and she goes, "Damn it!"
Well, that's funny. That happened, and then I sent you that Snapchat.
Yeah, on my way to over here, Patrick sent me a Snapchat of a Creed song. Like, as I was driving here, I think it was an ode to the first episode of DIY Metal.
There you
go. He knows.
So if you guys didn't know, Dan also has a nice little podcast going on called DIY Metal Guys. I know we mentioned it earlier, but we're going to try to get Dan in here and have kind of a nice little music segment occasionally as our music guy, because Dan still has an interest in pipes. He didn't know it had been buried deep in his college years, but we're going to drag it back out of him.
Yeah.
And then it'll give us an opportunity to talk a little bit more about music and have some other things that I'm interested in, which is sharing the hobby of pipe smoking.
Yeah.
And our podcast, we just got started. We've only got one episode. We're recording our second one this coming week. But we're just kind of rambling about things we're listening to, mostly metal music. It's a friend of mine, Ryan, and we just talked a little bit last episode about controversy in metal music and things we're listening to, and we're just kind of using it as a output for us to just discuss those type things and whatever comes to mind. So
Now, is this regional?
like music wise,
Yeah, I mean, you're going to cover some bands in the Southeast or anything like that?
our plan is to eventually get more involved, like local, with local music, and because I still go to a bunch of local shows. I mean, I might be the oldest guy there, but
There was always, like, when I was young, there was always that
one guy,
older metal guy that everyone's like, yeah, it's Dave. Dave knows everything, every band. He's been here since the beginning of time. Like, Dave's just drifting through this infinite metal universe.
and it's always the guy with a bald head and a ponytail.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
You replaced the ponytail with a beard.
Yeah, I have an upside down head.
But, yeah, it was always that one guy. Seemed like he always was named Dave, too.
It makes sense. So I'm going to talk about this. One of the last local shows I went to, we went to see this band that had just got signed from Huntsville, and they were playing this like little storage building show, and there's a bunch of bands played all day. It was in Decatur, Alabama, and so we go, and there's this older band that's been around for a long time, a local band, and one of their guys was out there listening to the headliner, and I don't know if this guy was tweaking or what was going on, because he was standing in the middle of this pit, and he's probably 50 years old, got this long hair, and was just, dude.
He's going to town.
No, he was just standing there in the middle of everything, and like he kept like rubbing his nose and stuff.
Oh Lord.
Oh, that's the best. That's how you know you're at a good show.
Well, I knew it was a good show, and I pulled up to a storage building.
Oh, see, I'm from the Dave Matthews style experiences. It's a good show when you just show up and you smell weed.
Yeah.
Actually, my
That
first.
happens a lot too.
Yeah.
Last show I went to, I only smelled one joint though.
You only smoked one joint?
No, I only smelled one. Usually, you smell them. Like, as soon as the lights go out, you'll just see like little lights, and
Yeah.
you'll smell it. And like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
This
See,
last one was only one time I smelled it.
see, this is the first time in I think it's May. I'll be going to another Dave Matthews Band concert.
Is that the one in Tuscaloosa?
This
Tuscaloosa, or is it?
this one will be in Nashville, the Bridgestone.
okay.
So that's the first time I'm ever going to see him inside of a place.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be even a thing.
Bridgestone's a good venue though.
Okay.
It's a good arena.
I've seen them three times, and they've all been amphitheaters.
I saw. That's where I saw Avenged Sevenfold was the Bridgestone.
My first band I ever saw was Baha Men.
That was the first concert you ever went to.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yeah.
My first.
So like the Who Let the Dogs Out guys?
Yep.
Yeah, those Baja Men, as opposed to the guys who let other animals out.
Yeah.
I thought for sure, like, for some reason I thought for sure he meant the Bajas, like that post-punk band. I was like, he could not have said Baja Men.
And I did.
That's a good little subject for one of our shows.
Baha Men?
No, first concerts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely have a... What's the first one you remember?
I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but I'll spoil it for everybody.
Go ahead.
What was your first show? Actually?
My first show?
Your first concert?
First concert?
Show, whatever.
Memphis. I was at the Ryman. Is that right? No, that's in Nashville. What's the Memphis venue? It's a big one. Anyway, I was in Memphis and I saw Tom Waits on his.
Really?
On his Orphans tour.
That was your first concert?
First concert ever. Yeah.
Were you did you drive there yourself, or did you go?
Me and a buddy named Brett Martin got tickets and rode up there, split a hotel room, went and watched it. I was like 18.
Oh, okay.
And then we went and watched the whole show, and then came back. Thought it was great, and then I haven't been to a lot of concerts because I think the second concert I went to was Tom Waits in Birmingham. I've been to a ton of shows. I don't know if you consider those concerts. I've seen a ton of bands.
Well, I just mean like musical, like your first performance you ever went to.
Oh, so first performance I ever went to was like a high school band thing.
No, just like the first band you ever went to see.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be Tom Waits.
Technically, the first concert I ever went to was Tom Waits. The first show I ever went to was like at the
a local show,
at the music hall in Sheffield.
Yeah,
and and then it was like one of those. I don't know, like one of those emo screamo bands, like As I Lay Dying in the Fog,
wait,
and Addiction or whatever crap. I don't know, like it was one of those bands.
What?
They had like one of those like really melodramatic like titles, when you're like, what is this band called? And they're just like, Blood of My Mother Reigns Supreme. And I was like, that's a little much, or whatever.
My favorite are the ones you can't read. Like it just looks like tree roots. The band light logo.
Yeah.
Cradle of Filth.
Yeah, they're kind of like that. Yeah. Sulfur Aeon. They have it's kind of hard to read, and they have some upside down crosses in there. So
That's nice.
I don't know what that has to do with Lovecraft, but
I don't either, because they don't really go that route, do they ever? In Lovecraft?
Lovecraftian is just like
it's just horror. It's kind of a horror image.
It's so outside of that,
It's just
though.
like there's no, like what Lovecraftian or weird fiction or, that kind of like, horror is just like, it's the fear of the unknown. It's the thing that can't be. It's cosmic. It can't be surmised in words.
You can also like point towards it just being metal. That's kind of an image thing for a lot of bands. I mean, Ghost does it.
Yeah, Ghost. Yeah, but that's a big part of their
image is
their
like
on-stage presence and their image.
To me, it's very. I don't think it's as much satanic as it is theatrical.
Yeah.
Because like to me, they're no different than Alice Cooper was. Or is.
Yeah, they just. I think their theme is more. It's almost like their theme is just more centered on like the papacy and things like that.
For sure. It's like I think they described it as like going to a service. When you go to see them.
Yeah, a mass.
Yeah,
it's a mass. It's a mass.
It's like a black mass.
I have to say, I went to a mass that was more like old school, like it's all Latin.
Yeah.
And I've seen videos of Ghost, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little uncomfortable, because like the guy came in swinging incense and they're speaking in Latin. I'm just like, I just see Ghost in my head. I'm like, ah.
Well, it's probably because like you get all that like Latin and that kind of imagery and stuff in horror movies and just in general time of like old Catholic Church and stuff like that.
Now, granted, I enjoyed it. It was fine. It's fine. It's just I got a little uncomfortable because I seen the Ghost stuff and I'm just like,
talking about you went to.
Sorry, like I was like, well, are we talking about ghosts or are we talking about a Catholic mass?
I said I went to a Catholic mass
And it reminded him of
because it was like it was an more old school
Traditional.
Like I think they call it what Vatican II or whatever it's called. I don't know.
Vatican
it's-
II,
it's-
Electric Boogaloo.
The Electric Boogaloo. It's like how it was in the '60s or
Yeah.
'70s before they switched it up or something.
talking about you went to Sheffield to see, those shows or whatever.
Yeah.
So Zach and Patrick are both from like a county over from where I grew up.
Which we know is an awesome place, as we learned last week.
Did I talk about it last week?
You talked about everything last week.
Hey.
It was the city bashing episode.
When I,
Except for
When
Chicago,
I,
you gave love to
Yeah, I
Chicago.
like Chicago. Yeah.
when I was like in high school, we used to drive over to Florence to the Rave Theater and go to shows there. I don't know if y'all remember that place.
I do.
It had like a shotgun style room with a stage, and it had all the old arcade games. So you'd go in there and jump in a mosh pit, then go play some Pac-Man.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a show.
That wasn't my first. Back to what we were talking about a minute
Wait,
ago.
what
My-
was your first show
my
first?
fir- my-
Let Patrick say, and then
Well,
you-
he says the Baja.
It was
oh, it's the
Baja.
Baja.
It really
Yeah,
was.
right.
Well, that's the first show I remember.
Actually, was the Baja.
That's the first one I remember. I did go see Leonard Skinner at the Music Hall of Fame, maybe 5 years later, but
In Tuscumbia.
Yeah.
At the Alabama. It's
Mhm.
funny because I remember somebody told me once, they're like, yeah, we went over to the Alabama Music Hall of Fame, but we didn't see Leonard Skinner's like plaque over there. I was like, well, maybe it's because they're from Tallahassee,
yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Florida.
Now Black Tide opened for them. And that was I really liked
Black
that.
Tide did?
Yeah,
I saw Black Tide open when they first got
Mhm.
out there. They opened for Trivium. I saw them in Nashville
Really?
in 2007.
I really liked Black Tide
They're pretty good.
because they came out to the Alabama 3 song. Woke up this morning, the theme song to Sopranos,
Yeah.
and I was pumped. I was ready.
They were like super young
Okay.
dudes too. When I saw them, I think it's 2007 when I saw them, and I want to say their lead singer was like 15 at the time, and they were going to play Ozfest, and this may not be true, but for some reason I remember this coming up that they were going to play the second stage at Ozfest, like on the Jaeger stage, but maybe they couldn't because of
Mm.
age policy or something. That might not be true, but I remember them getting bumped over to main stage when they first started. But my first concert was Kid Rock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of,
I mean,
not everybody knows that.
well, I was gonna say,
I guess they do if they listen to my last podcast.
Yeah.
Did we talk about it in the last podcast? Maybe we did talk about that.
what you seen Kid Rock?
Yeah, maybe not. I don't remember.
I'll say around the time you would have saw Kid Rock was when he was good. So
Yeah, I mean, that was back in the Ball with the Ball days.
yeah.
And funny enough, Puddle of Mud opened for him.
Oh man.
That was my first. I was 15 years old.
I mean that's like a guilty pleasure for me. I like Puddle of Mud.
It's funny because that's very post grunge too.
Man,
Puddle of Mud. Yeah, I've seen them a couple times. They're Puddle of Mud, the band. Their lead singer is such like an ass that they walked off stage while he was
Really?
playing. Like I think it was overseas, like in England or Scotland or something. They did that at a little bar. Yeah, I saw them. I saw them open for Kid Rock. It was like I said, I was 15.
Mhm.
My cousin had an extra ticket, and he was like, "You want to go?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And so we went and saw him. And Kid Rock had pole dancers on stage, and it was pretty awesome.
what year? What was this? 90 what?
It was when was that? It was 2000.
2000.
It would have been 2004, 2005.
Don't you miss those days?
Sorry. Speaking of like bands with mud in the title, I was on the internet the other day and some article popped up that said, "Whatever happened to Mudvayne?" And I was like, "No one's asking that question." No one.
Well, their lead singer is the lead singer of Hell Yeah,
Oh,
so he's at least still doing some things.
That's good. I don't care about Mudvayne.
They were good in there. Didn't you like Mudvayne?
no, I don't think I ever listened to Mudvayne.
Okay, maybe that was somebody at work told me they like Mudvayne.
Is Mudvayne in the same like genre with like Slayer and Metallica?
I would say they're more like
I thought they came out of that Manson craze.
they were kind of like a new metal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Type.
okay.
Not
Probably
so
I've
much,
never.
not so much like Korn new metal, but
Oh.
that same.
Okay, I probably have never. I've heard of them, but I've never listened to them. I don't think.
That's some good. They had some bops back.
I
in
like
the day.
System of a Down. In that same realm, they're a little bit after Korn.
It's kind of like new metal too.
I like System of a Down.
People are like begging them to write a new album.
Really?
They love people love System of a Down. for some reason. I've never been a huge System of a Down fan. Not for real.
It's just funny.
What's funny?
Just like people love them for some reason.
They do. No, they're good.
It always shocks me when someone like I remember the first time, and I'm harkening back to last episode a little bit, but I remember I was working with a girl and we were talking or whatever, and I was like, so like you just talk because you pass the time when there's nothing to do, and I was like, so like what kind of music you like listening to? You like whatever, what do you like? And this is I've had two people bamboozle me with this question because this is kind of my go-to. Like usually it's books, film, and then eventually I hit music. But she was like Nickelback, and I laughed, and then I was like, "Oh, you're serious?" Like I was like, I've never heard anyone say that to me before. I guess the circles I run in don't really think highly of them. I was like, "You're serious?" And she goes, "Yes, I love them. I've been to see them twice in concert." And I was wow.
Who was it that bamboozled you? You and I were on a work trip together in Texas, and you asked him the same thing.
Yeah. So the second one, I'm not going to name her name, but like, I asked her, I was like, "What kind of music do you listen to?" She's like, "I like old music."
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh yeah, cool." Like, 'cause, when you hear something like that, she's not too far off from my age. She's like, she's 29 or something like that.
I think she's probably
little young.
I'll say she's probably like my age.
Within 5 years.
I'll give
is
you that.
within range. If I could have 4 to 5 years means
it's not that.
Yeah, I mean,
not that much time in the.
You could date now that person and it not be weird.
That's right.
It might be weird in high school if I'm a senior and she was like an 8th grader or something, but like 9th grade is pretty much free game. I remember seniors poaching freshmen, but like that's not the point. The point is that like she's not too young. She's
she is within
the guy. Like so, I thought when I was thinking old music, I was thinking like 80s, 70s, like things that my parents would have listened to.
Yeah, the Eagles or
the 60s. I mean, like unless we're getting real old, we're talking like 50s or something like that.
Elvis.
But like I was thinking like 70s, 80s, and she said,
Lou Bega.
Yeah, she goes, yeah, old band, Lou Bega. And I was like, Lou Bega?
You mean the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guy?
Yeah, Mambo number 5? What? I was like, what? I haven't seen, no one has said Mambo number 5 since Mambo number 5 was on the radio.
That's right.
Like, what are you talking about? Mambo number 5?
Like, well, hang on. He has enough, like, material in his discography to have fans, like, past.
That dude has one single. It's just like, oh, Sandra, Belina.
And then all it is commercial background music now.
Yeah,
it really is.
Cool.
It's like a cell phone.
Yeah, some Boost Mobile commercial.
I was like Nextel.
Oh.
Is Nextel still a thing?
No. I think they got swallowed up by Sprint, who is being swallowed up by T-Mobile, or maybe, whatever.
Yeah, didn't they steal the Verizon guy?
Yeah, Sprint, they stole that dude. And I'm just like, dude, nobody believes you. Nobody believes it's Sprint.
Wait a minute.
Oh, come on,
Lou Bega though.
Lou Bega, like that's the second time I've been at. Where you're just like, what in the world? Like, no one's talking about Lou Bega.
But here's the thing, like, it's okay.
And that's not old. Like 2000s, like that made me feel old.
Yeah.
I'm getting there, but like, if you like Lou Bega, cool, right?
Yeah,
no problem with that. But if somebody asks you what kind of music,
there's still a problem.
There's still a problem there. Sorry, guys. If you like Lou Bega, you need to look in the mirror for a second.
But I'm not going to judge you if you have Mambo number 5 stored in the playlist somewhere. Like,
no.
If it comes, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, okay, I like Lou Bega, but what I'm saying is if someone asks you that question, like, what's your like kind of music do you listen to? And the first thing that you pop off is Lou Bega, huh?
Well,
if you pop off Mambo number 5, you're like a one-hit wonder. Like, what's the rest of what other song did I hear of his?
Like nobody says, hey, what kind of music do you like? It's like, oh, I like 80s. Oh, okay. So like, who's your favorite group? Rick Astley. It's like, no, you like that song.
Yeah, but you can't say.
But the next thing is, that's not old music.
Yeah,
but what's crazy though is if you listen to like
classic, it will be in 10 years. Though.
But if you listen to classic rock radio now, like I grew up. Of course, I've been listening to like rock metal stuff since I was young. I just got into it, gradually got into it, and like they're playing stuff like Korn, like not maybe on a classic rock station, but what's considered old now, like Korn, like Disturbed.
Yeah.
I saw Disturbed a few years ago, and this I told like my niece or something we were going to see him. She's like, "Oh, that's old music." I'm like, "What?
No, it can't be
old music." But then you think about it, and like, when their first album came out, like 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't there
right at 20 years ago?
Isn't there a Sirius channel called Turbo or something?
Yeah.
And it's where like that 2000 era
it is.
sits. I actually like that station pretty well.
When I had Sirius, they had just came out with that station. I listened to it a little bit. I was always like a liquid metal guy though.
And Seether, good band.
Well, that would be on.
It's a little bit later, isn't it?
Yeah, Seether was early 2000s.
Was it?
They're very, very post grunge too.
Yeah.
If you like Nirvana, you probably like Seether.
Okay.
Because Seether did a acoustic album similar to how Nirvana did theirs, which theirs was MTV's Unplugged. But
Yeah.
Kind of in the same gesture.
I would say I'd listen to Seether over Nirvana, but I see what you're saying.
I used to love Seether.
But no, yeah. I mean, yeah, Seether's good. I haven't listened to him much lately though.
They came to Tuscaloosa like last fall.
What about what's your take on Shinedown?
Man, so
because I mean they had a couple songs I liked.
So back in the day, like I used to really like Shinedown.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like I don't have a problem with radio rock, but they're just so now to me they're so generic radio rock.
Yeah.
I actually saw them. They came to Huntsville back last fall.
Oh.
And we bought tickets because the opener was Asking Alexandria, and we wanted to go see them. My wife really likes them, so we were gonna go see them. And Shinedown played next, and Godsmack headlined.
I like to see Godsmack.
And they actually put on a really good show. God, I've seen them twice. But Shinedown, man, they're so they're rock for the masses, which is fine. But it doesn't.
They're sort of like not pop rock in like what the way you think of it, but it's popular rock.
The most controversial band, probably at least now, that's what you would call pop rock or like even alternative or something would be, and who's done it the best, in my opinion, would be Bring Me the Horizon.
But they get some good stuff.
They do, but they went from being like a deathcore band, to a metalcore band to like a pop rock band.
Yeah, because they have a little. Don't they use a little electronic?
Oh yeah, sure. They got a bunch of keyboards and synths and stuff like that.
Which I mean, that's a topic. That's a bigger topic. But it's like, do you fault bands that stay the same or that evolve? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we'll touch on this at some point, like on our show too. But you get people that complain about a band that makes the same record over and over and over again, and you get people that
complain that
when they change, like, oh my god, this is so much worse than your last album.
Yeah. Because I mean, like,
you guys were better 10 years ago.
I know
but they weren't the number one band 10 years ago either.
No, yeah. I mean, and sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes the label forces you.
Yeah.
Like when you're up and coming.
Yeah, sometimes. I don't think it was like that for Bring Me the
Yeah,
Horizon.
probably not.
Because they've literally every album they've changed.
And like
something different.
Like so, I sort of think back to like. So I know I'm saying them again, but like Dave Matthews Band. I mean, they've changed, but it's not a lot. Like they've stayed the same, but it's not boring, I guess.
But you see, it's like Aerosmith to me. Aerosmith's one of my all-time favorite rock bands. Just love them.
Aerosmith is good.
They're one of the few bands that have successfully like maintained. I think. Yeah. Because they went from being like a typical 70s, what we would call classic rock band now. And they still have that. They still maintain that same sound, but it's not exactly the same. Like to me, they're like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They've just kind of transcended time. They're still the Chili Peppers, but it don't sound like Chili Peppers in the early '80s.
Yeah. Now, Chili Peppers, they put on a good show. Yeah. What?
You can't just laugh and not explain what you're laughing at.
The millennial up here is Snapchatting people.
I'm sorry. Dan is like waggling his feet. like a child in a chair, and Dad is like 6'4", so he's got him like extended out, and he's pedaling like he's on a bicycle. And I noticed that like he's talking about bands. I'm sitting here and I'm staring at his feet. I'm like, what is he doing, man? And I don't have a lot of dog in these races with bands. But I'm mesmerized by him kicking like he's paddling down the river or something. Golly, man, that made me laugh so hard. Oh.
Probably even funnier is like hearing somebody talk about death metal music wearing clown socks.
Clown socks and what I'll call them, hipster boots.
Yeah, sure.
Because I got a pair like that. They're just more like, they're more suede than they are smooth.
These are so comfortable. Zach actually convinced me to buy these.
Mm-hmm.
Are they fry?
Yeah.
Of course they are.
Hey, look,
Got 'em
like
to sell.
Is that shirt an Orvis shirt? I'm harkening
Yes.
back to that. I'm harkening back to something else. So it's like him saying that to you is me going, "Are those boots fry?"
Yeah.
Of course they are.
That's hilarious. What are you training for a triathlon? Man, I gotta get them steps up, bro.
Scaleback, Alabama. I gotta get them.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to lose those pounds. Gotta get those steps up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it does it if you're doing it in place, though.
No, I don't think that
I don't know
helps.
why I'm doing that. People always get on to me because it's like I can't sit still sometimes. So if I'm sitting at a table, like I'm usually like rocking my leg or pounding my foot or something.
If I'm on the phone, I have to walk around.
You saw me earlier.
Oh,
when I
yeah.
first got here, I got a phone call, and I probably got most of my steps in when I got here
Yeah.
because
Zach will call me, and I'll just be up walking around, and my girlfriend will be like, "Would you sit down? You're making me nervous.
no, man.
Or you're making me anxious."
I go like whenever I gotta tie my shoes on when I get on the phone because I'm going for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
I got places to be.
I just go outside,
Okay.
light up whatever I got to smoke.
But see, I'll go outside too, but I'll even go outside and just walk.
I would say I'll walk a mile, but in place.
I've been
Like it's in like this,
yeah. When
wearing out the carpet.
I used to live in my apartment complex in Florence, like if I got on the phone, sometimes I'd walk outside and I'd just go down the road and come back. I'm tired of walking to this 600 square foot apartment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, plum pudding is good to come back to every now and again.
That's a strong tobacco, though. That's like
Plum?
it gets on top of you so quick. Just it's so much. There's so much into it.
Mm-hmm.
This is good right here.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I'm telling you, man, the aftertaste on this red wrappery, it's pretty good. Are there any? So man, like you guys are smoking like what, a bunch of English style.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, we smoke a lot of non-aromatic. So.
Are there any like major U.S. producers still?
Yeah,
Cornell and Dill.
Cornell and Dill.
GLPs.
I almost said McClellan. That's sad.
Yeah. This is Seattle Pipe Club. Plum pudding, yeah.
Is it okay? Well, doesn't
And then
the
there's
local shop? Don't they do some local blends too?
Yeah.
And any brick and mortar will blend their own thing. Boswell's has a good selection. Standard Tobacco Company in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. That might be the Pennsylvania Tobacco Company. Either way, it's whoever owns Pipes and Cigars. They have a lot of good blends.
Now, Boswell is known really big for their aromatic stuff. That's like when you search like the top reviewed aromatics on tobacco reviews, is like half of that is Boswell. Speaking of that, thank you to everybody that has participated in the tobaccotology so far. We're gonna keep it up for a while longer, trying to get some more views in or more votes, and then we'll be able to do some real playoff bracket kind of stuff between different blends.
Right.
Like oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. Like we said, this year it's vapors and Englishes. Next year we'll expand it to a little bit more.
We're trying to hit that March Madness kind of because everyone's already going to be thinking in terms of brackets. So might as well just go ahead and flip that idea into tobacco.
Yeah.
And this March,
it is March Madness, isn't
it
it?
is.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, one of the things we're going to be doing this month that I had mentioned kind of in passing is that we're going to try to bring in more pipe smokers or cigar smokers who have an interest in basketball and get their opinion on what's going on. I'm not the biggest sports guy in the world, but I thought it would be interesting to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I follow sports, but I usually don't follow. It's usually why I don't do good in the brackets, because I don't follow basketball up to the playoffs. I only follow it once it reaches the playoff. So I don't know how good these teams are.
There might be some good guests in the making, though.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey,
definitely.
but I mean, most people that do March Madness brackets anyway,
They like
the
choosing
ones
which
that
one.
the ones that know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, the people get upset all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people just pick based on like what mascot would beat the other mascot, and sometimes heck they they
It's
win,
pretty funny.
like they get far into it, or pick what color do they like better
Right.
between the two teams. So yeah.
Like it just sounded like I knew today was like we're in March now, but
Mhm.
it just now hit me that hey,
You knew it was March because my mustache, right?
that's right.
Mustache March.
But it's crazy that it's March already.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I hate to tell everybody that Elizabethan is getting a lot of votes, and we're going to do our best to get
Well,
some. But I mean,
There
Okay.
are some alternatives to
Yeah.
Elizabethan. They came out with that new. There's some new blends on the block that are Dunhill and Mimickers, and
Yeah.
I know that Pipes and Cigars have a Elizabethan alternative. So we're going to try to utilize some of those.
doesn't Sutliff have a Elizabethan match?
I think so. So we're going to try to use some of that and try to get
Yeah.
get on the same page with everyone in terms of like actually
Yeah.
reviewing them. I don't want to ask for someone to send us a
No,
sample
yeah.
or
please.
anything like that because that's your personal stock. You
Yeah.
know, we'll try to like hunt down Elizabethan mixture
Yeah.
on our own. But
Yeah. And again, the purpose of this really is to be able to say, hey, I may have never had Elizabethan, but I can try something that's similar,
mhm.
or that tries to be similar, or maybe something that is similar to it that is more easy to find too as well, So, there's a lot of good that can come out of this bracketology.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to give a little bit of a more information in the consumer hands by being able to say, hey, like I like this, it's gone away, or this is something I like. It is also akin to this. I mean, as far as vapors are concerned, I really love a Scudo a lot. As a matter of fact, I think I prefer it to Deluxe Navy Rolls, which is a Dunhill blend. I think a Scudo is superior, but
only because you said they're almost the same.
they're almost the same. But I mean, like
It's
I think
the price and be able to get it.
price and everything. I think it takes the edge, takes the lead on it.
So keep participating with us. It really helps us out, and we'll just keep making some episodes as long as you like them.
Yeah, of course.
But I think I'm down at the bottom of my bowl.
Yep, I'm at the bottom of mine. Dan, you about closing out on yours?
Yeah, I'm down there.
So,
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all for listening in. We hope to see you next week on the next episode of Pipecast.
And if you like metal music,
Yeah.
follow DIY Metal Guys on any major podcast platform and on Instagram.
Yeah.
We're only one episode in, but we could use some follows and some
Yeah.
shout outs. Thanks for letting me come hang out
Yeah.
today.
everybody start somewhere. So.
Yeah, man. It sounds good. We'll give
Yeah.
you a shout out on the Instagram. So you guys
Yeah.
follow DIY Metal Guys
Yeah.
for your local metal taste.
Catch y'all next time. This has been a Pipecast production.
And we hope to see you at the next Full Bowl.